How would you feel if an Xfinity employee was in your house and knew where you walked everywhere throughout the day, what your pets were doing, what people who you invited to your house were doing, and they could do whatever they wanted with the data? Well, they don't need an employee to do that because they're just going to turn your router that you have been leasing from them into doing this exact thing. It's a feature they've been working on for a few years, and I have a lot of opinions to share about it, but let's talk about how it works first. So this is called Xfinity Shield, and as you can tell from this beautiful visual here, it actually knows everything going on in terms of movement. And so let's say you have a pet, you can actually set it to exclude pets. But if it notices like a human walking around the house, it'll notify you of that. It doesn't do anything beyond that, funny enough. You think that this would do more, but no, it literally just notifies you if there's movement that shouldn't be there. This is a very simplified explanation, but the way this works is it's going to turn your Xfinity gateway into motion sensors by detecting interruptions to the Wi-Fi signal of the wireless network, and then it sends you a notification. So let's say you have a printer connected to your Wi-Fi, and then you have maybe like something that's smart in your kitchen, and then you have a smart alarm clock, whatever you guys have. Whatever you have, doesn't matter. If something walks and pretty much disrupts the signal in some way, it's going to flag that there's been some kind of movement. First, I'm going to try to steelman this before I rip apart the privacy implications, but I don't actually understand the purpose of this. Like, if I actually put myself in the shoes of somebody who wants this feature, okay, I get a notification. Then what? Nothing records, nothing calls anyone, nothing confirms it's not a false positive. You get all these things in your life that seem cool, but then when you actually think about them, it's like, wait, what is this actually delivering for me? And like, what's actionable about this and making my life more positive? And I think this is kind of like the perfect representation of that. They say themselves, this isn't actually supposed to be professional security software. So then what is it? The real issue here is the privacy trade-off. Now, thank goodness this is currently opt-in, which means you need to actually turn this feature on. And don't worry, I'll tell you guys about all the issues with Comcast and what you can do. Comcast may disclose information generated by your Wi-Fi motion to third parties without further notice to you in connection with any law enforcement investigation or proceeding, any dispute to which Comcast is a party, or pursuant to a court order or subpoena. This came out literally last week, August 12th, 2026, right before this feature was formally launched, saying that they could identify 99.5% of participants is the exact technology that's used in routers. By observing the propagation of radio waves, it can create an image of the surroundings and of persons who are present. This works similar to a normal camera, the difference being that in our case, radio waves instead of light waves are used for the recognition. A person does not need to have a phone, smartwatch, or other Wi-Fi enabled device with them. Thus, it does not matter whether you carry a Wi-Fi device on you or not. Even turning off your own device would not necessarily prevent the system from working. It's sufficient that other Wi-Fi devices in your surroundings are active. It really is all about your environment and the fact that your environment has now turned into a situation where it's watching everything happening within it. The other thing to mention is that Xfinity has an atrocious track record when it comes to privacy. This is the same company who is collecting all of your DNS queries. This is the same company that is analyzing everything you do on your home Wi-Fi, from your phone to your computer to sensitive business information. They are collecting that data. They are trying everything possible to collect everything they can about you, not give you an easy way to opt out, and not give you an easy way to avoid those problems. Almost all Xfinity customers, for the most part, just use the default router that they give them that does all these things and starts integrating all these features. Some of them are opt-in, some of them are opt-out. So I'm going to walk through some router recommendations, modem recommendations, and what we can do about that in a second, but just a quick mention from our sponsor. If you're watching this video, you probably already think a lot about how you're tracked without permission, but it's quite challenging to address the payment layer. Every card swipe, every tap, every app, there's a company logging it, gluing your name to it, and quietly selling it off. Whether it's the VPN subscription, the foot cream, the third energy drink today, or the embarrassing amount that you spend on your dog, none of it's a crime. It's just genuinely nobody's business except yours, and yet it's still on a database somewhere nonetheless. But making transactions privately isn't actually as untouchable as it might seem, and one of the tools I use to take that back is Cake Wallet. It's free, open source, and non-custodial, which means that you own your own own keys, not some bank or third party. The best part too is it's easy to get started and it's designed for even a beginner to be able to understand. It's got the best Monero support out there if you want genuinely private digital cash, but the part I really love is that it has cake pay, so you can actually take whatever cryptocurrency you have and spend it out in the real world on normal everyday stuff. They also have some of the most novel privacy technologies for Bitcoin, Litecoin, and other coins, and made them easy to acquire and easy to realistically spend. This whole video is about surveillance creeping into a corner of your life, but your money is the corner almost nobody really seems to protect, and it's one of the most revealing. So if you want to take that back, go download Cake Wallet. It's completely free and open source at cakewallet.com, and I can tell you, using them for 8 years, it's a wonderful user experience. Check them out below. So I want to keep this as practical as I can for you all in terms of what you can do about this issue as well as other issues on your home Wi-Fi network. And I will say right now, right there, it's hard to point mirror image, but that is my ISP's router as well. I am not perfect. So first, don't enable crap like this feature. Like, that's just an obvious one. Don't enable it. If you already enabled it, just turn it off. The second thing you can do if you are in the Xfinity ecosystem is there are lots of privacy opt-outs that they make extremely hard and obnoxious to do. If you look, I'm literally clicking your privacy choices on their site and it doesn't do anything. Isn't that unbelievable? Like, on camera, like, look, I am clicking my mouse. Their privacy choices. You. Anyway, I went to Brave Search and I did Xfinity privacy opt-outs. Okay, that works. So when I used to be an Xfinity customer, this is where you can get a lot of stuff done. It is obnoxious because you have to go through each one of these things. It's called dark patterns. It's an intentional thing that companies do to make it hard to opt out, but make sure to do those. This is at least something in the right direction. The third thing you can do, regardless if you go for custom hardware, which I'm going to cover in a second, is to use a DNS and or a VPN. Now, this is important because anytime you access a website, it's running a DNS query and pretty much revealing to your ISP, in this case Xfinity, all the websites you access. And by default, you're going to be using Xfinity unless you change it. So if you go to our website to resources, you can go to web browsing and just go to DNS providers. And we have some really good DNS providers here that all are privacy respecting and have kind of different approaches to protecting your queries. If you are more comfortable, a VPN is going to be a little bit better than that because it's going to just create an encrypted tunnel, and everything in a tunnel isn't as visible to something like your ISP. Proton, I think, is a really nice starting point. There's an affiliate link with them down in the description, but it's opt-in. There's a non-affiliate link too if you don't want to click it. All of these here are open source on our site, and we also maintain a VPN finder tool, which just has data points on every VPN. I want to be very clear too that these solve different issues. Using a VPN, but still enabling your Wi-Fi motion thing, those are completely different things, and using a VPN won't stop the data collection of the Wi-Fi motion. So we need to tackle these things in kind of this layered approach. So in most situations, you need two things to get away from your Xfinity router. The first is you're going to need a modem. So you're going to put in your address here, and it's going to tell you which modems are compatible with your house. I've used Eris in the past, and I really liked it. Now, there are kind of nuances to this. Some people online complain about this tool, and they actually use modems that the tool says aren't supported, but this is a good, safe starting point. But you will need a modem if you're going to unplug your Xfinity router. From there, you need a router. So you need two things, modem and a router. And the router, I do like to push people towards something that's OpenWRT compatible, not because you need to do that on day one, but because you might want to do it someday. This is going to be completely open source. It's the most transparent thing. This is probably the closest to you properly owning the hardware. I think the MT6000 is a really good starting point. And this is, again, from even the recommendations from the OpenWRT community. It's a more traditional router that I think most of you are familiar with. And the nice thing is it actually integrates with a lot of VPN providers. And so if you picked a VPN already, you could even put it on this router. And this comes pre-installed with OpenWRT. If you're more of a purist and you're more technical, you can look at the OpenWRT 1 as well. This is just one distributor of this. And again, guys, kind of like earlier, getting your own router doesn't mean that Xfinity can't see your web traffic. They are still your internet service provider. You're just owning your own hardware and adding more transparency to what ends up in your house. But you still need to be using a VPN or at minimum changing your your DNS provider away from your ISPs if you don't want them to be able to collect all that extra data. So you need to really combine these things if you really want the utmost protection. I think this feature pushes the creepiness monitor very far. So I don't even think, normally I'd say, I don't think it's paranoid to feel X about this. It's creepy, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I even need to say that in this video. I think this is just plain creepy. So I'm looking at this in the optimistic way of like, oh my God, there's this creepy feature that reminds me of how creepy these pieces of hardware can be. So maybe this is a good reminder to all of us, myself included, to get a new router. Thank you to our sponsor, Cake Wallet. And if you want to follow along with any digital rights news, privacy, security, anything else to keep yourself safe, check out our Surveillance Report newsletter. It's also a podcast, but I try to do a 5-minute TLDR that you guys can subscribe to, and I push it out each week, and there's no spam or anything. So check out the links down in the description to get started. Make sure to take back your control in your house, and I will see you all next time on Techlore. Thank you for watching.